So my name's Nick and I've delivered online workshops to thousands of people over the years. I'm going to share a few tips that will help you avoid running out of time at the end of the session. Okay, so the first thing is you really need to make sure that you start on time. Now, one way you can do this is by letting people know in the email before the session that they can join the call 10 minutes early, and that you will be starting on time. You've set a clear expectation so everybody knows that they need to be there early and can't be like letting their last meeting overrun. Next up, I'm sure you've experienced it where you join a call and there's that kind of awkward small talk that happens, and then one person starts chatting and then they just go on and on and on, and you know what? You end up starting like the call 5 minutes into it rather than actually being on time. So what I recommend you do is you get everybody to do an introduction in the chat box, so at least they're doing something and they're introducing themselves, but you haven't got people that are doing that awkward small talk that you can't stop and causes you to like begin late. When people are doing their introductions in the chat box, they can share their name, where they're calling from, their company, their role. They might even share their kind of social media links to their like LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever, so that everybody can get to know each other a little bit better. That's actually a way more effective way of getting to know each other than just doing that kind of like weird, awkward small talk. Then when you get to doing the like out loud introductions, or you could call it an icebreaker exercise, what you do is you say, look, we've already done our introductions in the chat box, so that's fine. We don't need to cover all that information again. Instead, what I want you to do is just answer one simple question. And you can make that whatever you want it to be. You could ask people, what do you want to get out of the session? You could ask people to share something, like a fun fact, something surprising or unusual about themselves. You could do anything, whatever icebreaker you want, but keep it simple and just keep it to being one question, because otherwise that gives people more opportunity to kind of like go rogue and give you really, really long, complicated answers. Instead, when you keep it simple to just one question, and you tell people, look, please keep your answers concise, keep them simple, keep them under 30 seconds, then they're more likely to keep it short, and so you can get your introduction done, hopefully in 5 or 10 minutes, rather than like worst case 45 minutes, which we see happen so often. Another thing I like to do when you're doing those kind of like introductions is use the hot potato, because it's a great metaphor, because you're getting people to nominate the next person after them. They're passing the hot potato to the next person. And what you say is that the hot potato is hot, it's piping hot. So what you need to do is make sure that you keep it moving, so keep it moving quickly. That helps because it really solidifies in people's minds that they need to move it on quickly, because your job as the facilitator is really to help everyone stay on time and on schedule. So don't be afraid to be too strict, and that's probably the next kind of tip. Don't be afraid to be clear with your expectations. If feel maybe like you're being strict, you need to be a little bit strict at the beginning so that everybody knows what's expected of them, so that you can make sure that the session runs smoothly. And then probably the last tip for this video is that you want to make things time bound. So let people know that, okay, this exercise is going to take 3 minutes, or this exercise is going to take 5 minutes, or for your answers, try and keep them under 60 seconds. That really helps. And what you can do is use something like a time cube, or maybe like a time timer, or even just go onto Google and type in like 1 minute timer, and then automatically one will show, and you could share that, and you'll share that on your screen so that everybody knows how long they've got. When you do that, it's really effective for keeping people on time and focused, so that you don't mess about and overrun. Okay, so here's a quick summary of the tips that I suggested. The first one, invite people to join the call early, start on time. The second thing is get people to introduce themselves in the chat box as they join the call, so there's no small talk. Then when you're doing your introductions, make sure you use the hot potato so they move it between them. Also make sure you keep your activities time bound so they know how long they've got, and maybe even use a timer that people can see, so that keeps everybody on track. If you try some of these tips, I'm sure they're going to help you keep your sessions on time. I haven't said all the tips out there in the world, but hopefully this is enough just to get you started. If you've got any suggestions or tips that you like, definitely share them with me in the chat box below, because I think that's the best thing. Those are some of my tips, but I'd love to hear what yours are. So that's it from me in this video. I'd love to see you in the next video. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't, and please give this a like if you found this useful as well. See you later, everybody.